Good evening. This is Steve Lentini, and I'm your host for Different Thinking for Different Times. This is Season 1, Episode 16. Good evening. So, I want to start with something tonight that Joseph Campbell once said, that in the great journey of life, there'll be a chasm. And what he urged people to do was to jump. It's not as wide as you think. So that's an interesting quote from someone who is a spiritual teacher. Let me read it again so it sits with you. As you go the way of life, you'll see a great chasm. Jump. It's not as wide as you think. And that's the topic for this evening's podcast, because what I've learned over time is that small-minded thinking has us believing that we have limits. And you don't have to go far to find examples of people who were limited. They'll tell you the story that they're stuck in. They'll tell you the story about a job that didn't work out because of the boss. They'll tell you how their whole life isn't working for whatever, for a myriad of reasons. A mother-in-law, a neighbor, a partner, their mother, their father, the family. And so even my phone agreed as it rang a reminder. Here's the thing to remind yourself. You live in something limitless. You live in a miracle. And what Joseph Campbell was saying is all the perceived barriers to the life that you want to live are not as big as you think they are. And that you need to jump into the area that you dream of. Now, if you're 5'7" and you're dreaming to be dunking a basketball like Michael Jordan, or to be the number one player on a team in the NBA, it's probably not realistic. So your dream needs to be realistic. I'm not talking about grandiose ideas that a lot of people have that border on crazy. What I'm talking about is a realistic yet scary approach, one that challenges yourself, that stretches you, and it also helps you develop the gifts you came here with. Most people have a yearning. They have something they really love to do, but they just think they're stuck in the niche they're in. They're stuck in the some would call it a rut. But being awake is understanding that you can achieve something that you have a passion for, that you have a desire for. You have that desire within you. It's an indicator that you have the tools to achieve it. You have it for a reason. You came here to return that gift to the universe. And people have these big ideas about what they need to do. It could be simply that you want to help old people in their retirement years, right? That you want to go to assisted livings, play music for them, visit. I don't know what it is that you want to do, but it could be as simple as being a great grandparent. It could be that you want to be a great husband or wife and father and mother, and that you just keep bringing your complete attention to that you're mindful and present, and you keep learning and growing about yourself as a parent. Or maybe on the job that you're in right now, you really love it, but you've got some frustration, maybe some of the people that you work with. Those people that you work with that frustrate you are a gift. They're there to help you develop and grow and stretch. And if you can just make that shift, that's different thinking for different times. You're shifting, looking at how the people that bug you are a gift. And I'm urging everyone, because I've been on the other side, I know that we live in something limitless. and that any thinking that limits us is small-minded thinking. And where we go from here, in the blink of an eye, by the way, we do go somewhere after here. Where we go is amazing. It's amazing. And I can tell you that you'll probably come back if you do not honor the desire that you have within you. I don't know that for sure. I was not shown that. In my time on the other side, there was no body, just pure consciousness, nothing from here, no opposites, no male, no female, no different nationalities. There were no religions. Everything was one. It was a knowing that I was one with everything and nothing. Pure light, no darkness, no mention of my sins and where I had fallen, but I had fallen here to learn and grow. On the other side, there was no mention of that. Only the lives I had touched was shown to me in a life review. Everyone I had helped or touched or loved in a way by doing service and helping them. And that was family and strangers and friends. It was amazing. There was only the now. There was no past or future. There was no memory of this existence, and there was no future. I had no yearning to go anywhere or do anything but just to be in the now, because that's all there was. I call it the now on steroids. And then I was asked a question, stay or go? And my consciousness responded, thy will be done. It didn't matter whether I stayed there or came back here. I just had a knowing to surrender like that to the divine, to God. Maybe I'll figure out how to shut the phone off. So the thing to remember that we can bring that consciousness here, surrender in the moment. Don't make it wrong, but look for the lesson and how you can grow. Challenge your small-minded thinking, because nothing from here is on the other side. And the lesson I learned from that is to overcome all judgment, all anger, forgive all, and to look at everyone as the divine. That's where they come from. That's where we all come from. And that's a challenge, right? To not say to someone who asks you for money for a sandwich, go get a job, but instead to say, come on, let's go get a sandwich. Nothing from here was there. Better yet, not to judge people who have different sexual preferences than you, a different race than you, a different political persuasion than you. Differences are here so that we can learn to grow, overcome them, not to make others wrong. Everyone has their own journey. My journey is me. That's it. I'm the only person I can control, and that's what I work on every day, letting go of what other people are doing, even some of the heinous things that get done. As long as it doesn't involve me, then my only lesson there is to forgive these people and perhaps find ways to help others that have been victimized. But what I can control is not judging people and forgiving them and loving them and knowing that, yes, there is chaos here and that creation itself was chaotic. It's called the Big Bang, the big explosion. But that somewhere it's all working together for good, and that any chaos, even violence, is a way for us to learn and grow, to eventually reject it and learn that the only way to overcome it is to love our brother as ourselves. When I was on the other side, there was no religion. I mentioned that earlier. So there was no one way to God or the divine. And I was immediately there. I went from intensive care on the 5th day at the Waltham Hospital at around 2 o'clock on November 18th, 2002, from my body to pure consciousness. And so while we think we're separate from the divine here, it's just that we don't want it. We reject the lessons. We don't want to learn and grow. We'd prefer not to have to deal with violence and war and political differences and sexual preference differences and the color of a house difference and angry over a neighbor parking in front of our yard. And how about brothers and sisters fighting and mothers and children and fathers and children? We are so petty that we're surrounded by all these differences and invitations to get angry. And it's obvious to me now that they're all invitations to grow, to just breathe and not react, not to listen to that acorn brain, as I call it, not to respond automatically to the automatic thought, just to breathe and say, oh, okay, I see you're upset. Is it with me? I see you're going to marry your lifelong partner. God bless. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Is to not have a judgment about people that live next door that don't look like you, or they don't have the same skin color. But remember, doctors know this well. Everyone's color is the same in the veins. What's coursing through us is certainly a life force, and it has no color. It has no nationality. It has no religion. It has no sexual preference. It's just the life force. And how we express ourselves here is each individual's choice. If you are a negative influence and perhaps even violent, well, then that's the kind of life you will experience. What you give, you get. The energy you put out into this world comes back to you. And the good you do is somehow etched onto the fabric of time. I talk about it every week, that the only thing mentioned in my life review was the good I had done, that somehow the good I had done was etched onto the fabric of the infinite. And so think about how you feel when you do good. You feel great. So keep doing good. That's how you can change the world as an individual, not making groups wrong, not tweeting about people that you disagree with and making them wrong, and even carrying signs and protesting. It might be to deliver a message that's different than yours, but truly our job here is to compromise, to learn and grow, to negotiate and allow others to have whatever it is, whatever their life journey, whatever life journey they want, however their life journey turns out, that's their journey. It's not yours. And to get to that place, different thinking for different times, where you're accepting of everyone's journey, as long as, of course, it's not harming or hurting you, or that your views are not harming and hurting others. Again, you can only control you. I can only control me. And since that day, on November 18th, 2002, I love doing good. Do I always do good? No. I have an ego back in my body. It's certainly work to overcome the small-minded thinking, and I'm more successful at it than ever, thanks to spending that time with the divine. The divine is never separate from us. It's only we that separate ourselves from the divine. We would not exist if the divine ever took its attention off this little garden rock floating around an exposed nuclear fusion plant that we call the sun. We are suspended in the midst of a miracle. Remember to be a miracle for others. Remember that you live in a miracle, and that every time you are a miracle for others, you're creating miracles for yourself, because you're leaving this world a better place. You can live to leave everyone and everything a little better than you find them in every moment. And that is certainly different thinking for different times. If you have any questions, or you'd like to be on the podcast with me, you can reach out to me, steve@stevelentini.com, steve@stevelentini.com. I'm glad to interview you. You can bring different thinking everywhere you go, even on the job, especially in professional jobs and in sales jobs, in leadership jobs, being CEO, different thinking for different times. is not to have that acorn brain thinking. Especially today when you want to retain employees. Imagine having the environment that encourages people to be accepting and to be more open to all those around them, right? And to be doing good. Again, any questions, Steve at Steve Lentini, Steve at stevelentini.com. Thank you.